Hämtar mamma dig som vanligt då, Loppan. Och sen så åker vi hem och så får du göra dina läxor och sen så tar vi dig till tennisen. För jag ska bort ikväll. Good morning, how are you? Good, thank you. Hej då, puss puss.
No, but for me, it's one of Dubai's little luxuries. Right. So if he wants, he can. Absolutely. And this is what happened with Katrine. He palmed Katrine off onto Upeka because he can't work out how to push her to the next level. He didn't want to do private lessons with her. So, fed up.
Yeah. How many days a week? Once?
Oh, not even, nearly not even once a week. And they're perfect to play with each other.
Yeah.
But they just pull each other's eyes out. Okay, so what do I need to do? Find a new husband?
Because you cannot change your daughter, so that's it. Your husband you can, your daughter.
Find some other kids that play good tennis that can be stepbrothers and sisters for them.
Is everybody putting work up there? Are you? Raji, you have work, yeah? Can you put your work in between Al and Sammy? Just put some of it. Put the images you like. Yeah, everybody throw your phones on silent. And everybody just go find a place somewhere, go sit and move the desks so they're not near the pictures so that I can actually look at the work. Yeah, I'm glad that we have reached this point in the semester without killing each other. That's good. That's always a good sign. It's always a very good sign. We're almost there, okay? End of semester, life is almost done. You get to go home. We still have some work left to do. Okay, we live in a city, and I don't know how many of you call this city your home. I've lived here for 3 years. Some of you have lived here all your life. Some of you are new to the city, right? You live in this city, you look at the city, you look at it as it's growing up, and there seems to be this attitude inside of Dubai that anything is possible. People come here and it's like the new America in a way. You come here to make your dreams come true. You come here to make money, you come here to build buildings, you come here to realize crazy projects. Okay, so here we are, we're sitting here. And we're gonna focus on 4 projects today. In no particular order, who wants to go first?
Not sure what to put.
Does it have to be all under a specific theme? Or story, or?
I do not know. Not exactly. We had the projects that Roberto gave us, which was taboo. This was very interesting, since our society, we have religious taboos and we have social taboos. I think there is a fine line between both of them. Yeah. True, one of religious taboos is changing what God gave you, plastic surgery. What's social taboo?
Probably a local marrying non-local.
Yeah, that's probably a social taboo. I have the series with the bunny ears.
Why?
And I am subliminally trying to convey a message to a certain type of people who are taking things too seriously, who are, on your head all the time. Wear abaya, don't do this, don't do that. So this is basically doing everything that you're not supposed to do in the society. There's a woman, she's supposed to act nice and, oh, I'm a woman, but she's sticking her tongue out. She's wearing a blue wig.
But your photos are showing the criticism, but you're fully dressed in traditional clothes.
I come from a very traditional family, and I respect tradition from head to toe. I don't mind tradition. But when people take tradition a bit too far and mix it with religion, that's when I start getting annoyed. So this is basically only messing with tradition and not with religion at all. So the burqa, this is something, it's sort of like a mask, like instead of the ring. As soon as a woman would get married, this would represent her being married and already taken.
Our grandmothers, until now, they're still wearing it.
Yeah, this is my grandmother's. I stole it from her. And like you find these women who still do it. It's kind of a tradition that they get from their parents and their grandparents, and it's passed down to.
Has your grandmother seen these photos?
She would not understand. She would ask, why is her hair blue? She's never seen blue hair in her life, so yeah. The older generation wouldn't understand everything we do, since they were taught how to live properly when you have nothing, and how to be grateful for everything you have, and how to make sense of your life when you have no TV, no internet. You know, they actually knew what to do. That's how life was, and it's very different now.
I used to work in an oil field. I got married, and oil field is difficult for married men, so I moved to a developer company. So that's one of the biggest jobs to find out. And I guess you can learn in 10 years anywhere in the world. You can learn it in 2 years in Dubai. Especially in this period of time, we have all this change. We have the metro, we have all these buildings and construction. You can feel that the whole city is under construction. So we're in the phase that is the process, and it is difficult maybe sometimes for the people that live in this stage. But if you adapt, then good for you. If you cannot adapt, then it's kind of difficult.
But you're Emirati, so it means that you were born and your family is born in this city. Does it affect your personal family life?
You can say there's a bit of modifications in lifestyle, but usually we try to be very strong when it comes to family. I mean, part of the religion, part of the culture is that you really have to maintain the relationship with your close family especially.
You have studied in Boston, you are traveling around the world, you're seeing much more of the world than, let's say, for instance, your grandfather.
I was born in Dubai, then 4 years I was in New York, where my father was completing his degree in architecture, and then I came back, did school, high school in Dubai. When I graduated, then I went back to college in Boston, and then I came back here. So a big part of my life was always outside, you know. Yeah.
So but it is still your home?
Yeah,
even though it
Dubai
changed.
is always my home.
It was the vision of His Highness Sheik Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, to make the city of Dubai by the year 2020 as the best city of the world. Dubai is not planning for Dubai, but we are planning for the whole region to be the best city in the world, and more especially in the Middle East. For example, hospitals and healthcare. Many times people from Dubai, when they need some major operations, they go to Europe, to America, and these places. The plan was that instead of going to there, we should bring these hospitals and make it here. So it is what they call the mid-care tourism. So people, not of Dubai only, but of whole Middle East, rather than to go to Europe and United States for treating, they should come to Dubai. Same thing, the university and the academic city. Before, as you mentioned, I myself, we were going to States, to Europe to study and so on. Now, rather than that, we are making our own university and bringing these American and European universities to Dubai. So all people of the Middle East, rather than going there, they should come to Dubai to study and graduate from Dubai universities. Same thing for internet, same thing for the media, all of these things. So it becomes the hub for all of these activities. So everything will be in Dubai.
But the amount of nationals, I mean the percentage of nationals like yourself, like people who were born here, is becoming smaller and smaller. How do you feel about that?
Well, the number of the expatriates and the foreigners to be increasing, I don't believe that is right, but it is a state, and we can say 18% locals and 82% foreigners. But that is the policy of the Emirate of Dubai. If we want to be a globalized city, and then we have to increase the number of the people. Right now, the population of Dubai is about 1.5. By 2015, we are supposed to reach something to 3 to 3.5 million, and then by 2020, maybe up to 5 million. So we are designing for that 5 million population, which is, you can say, 3 or 4 times more than what we have now.
Precies een jaar geleden wisten wij ook niet dat we een project gingen doen van 350 miljoen kuub hier. Dat zou gebeuren. Een jaar geleden wisten we ook niet dat tussen de grens van Abu Dhabi en de haven en de snelweg met een gebied van een 14 kilometer lang, 12, 14 kilometer lang, dat men dat helemaal in stad wil omzetten en daar 1 miljoen mensen wil laten wonen. Maar ondertussen zijn we er wel aan het bouwen. Goedemorgen. David, jij bent al aan boord? Oké, nou dan komen wij zo aan boord als jullie gekoppeld liggen. En dan komen we even boven kijken, ja? Oké, prima. Tot zo. Jo. Op deze palm is altijd voorzien tussen de 70 en 100.000 mensen. De wal over de as tot buiten is bijna 8 kilometer. En de doorsnee in de breedte is bijna 7 kilometer. Totale oppervlakte van 1000 hectare. Om de bladen van de palm, dus binnen de buitenste ring van het eiland, komt de beroemde dichtregel van de ruler. De Sheik Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, gebouwd zodat je dat vanuit de lucht, Google Earth mogelijk, allemaal kunt lezen. Iets in de geest van niet iedereen die paard rijdt is een jockey. Waar de ruler eigenlijk mee wil zeggen, je hebt meer visie nodig dan puur iets te kunnen. Het grootste project wat je feitelijk hebt is dat men ook nog een heel Arabian kanaal wil maken wat 70, 80 kilometer lang wordt. En daar wil men dan allemaal ontwikkeling omheen bouwen. Maar dat is een megaproject en dat beseffen ze nog niet echt wat voor een energie daarin gaat zitten, hoe gigantisch dat is. Dat is groter dan het bouwen van het Suezkanaal, groter dan het verbreden van het Panama-kanaal. En dat gaat dan helemaal door de woestijn, moet 20, 30 meter diep uitgegraven worden. Dat is gigantisch.
Maar het moet snel af, zeker?
Dat willen ze graag binnen 5 jaar af. Dus er zijn mensen die dat beloofd hebben aan de ruler dat dat kan. En dat is echt een brug te ver.
We're going to look at Arzu's project, okay? Arzu, can you tell us just, again, just for the sake of the class, just tell us again, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at a violin teacher. He's a Palestinian guy, but he's been living here for a while. And I think this is the way that he thinks he can add something to the world, or like bring great musicians to society, to the world. At least to Dubai, that I think is lacking these things like music and art and cultural.
They were very good boys. Good boys. Good boys and girls. Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Singhu. Thank you, Mr. Sami. Very nice boy.
When we were thinking of where to establish this music center, we thought of Dubai because we felt that it is the perfect choice in terms of the power of the consumer, the purchasing power of people being able to put their children at our school in order to be able also to buy the musical instruments this is not possible, for example, in a place like Egypt. In Iran, it's not possible because of the low purchasing power. And here also you have so many nationalities.
So many rich people here.
So many rich people, so many nationalities, and the fact that it is responding to the elite. So many international companies have established Dubai as their own regional headquarters. Lots of people like to see it this way, is that you have lots of hardware. This real estate, the factories, the port, the airport, all these, and the roads, the metros, all these are hardware. These are hardware and they require software programs, the creativity, the area where there is the life, the active, where you put soul into this body. And we are basically, we are playing our role in that area where we are giving the music. So much is devoted to the buildings, to the highest building, the biggest port, the biggest airport. Now we need the soul into this body.
managing chef, actually, in a fishing village. That's what I love doing. And you're walking down Jumeirah Street, and you get KFC and Hardee's and those restaurants and everything. Just behind it, you're going to have a white wall. And inside that white wall, there is a totally different world than Dubai. It's a fishing village.
How'd you find your way into it?
It was hard. First few times I went inside with a big camera and a flash and everything, and people were a bit afraid. They weren't very comfortable with me because they thought I was a reporter. And they had a couple of activities there that they didn't want anybody to know about. And the only way is to get someone's trust is basically to be close to him. He is the center because he's providing food, so he has a amount of power there in the fishing village in Jumeirah. He made his own home free of rent. There's no rent there.
He lives on the beach.
He lives on the beach, yeah. And I sat down with him and we talked, and he knows that I'm from Oman, and he knows that I'm studying here, doing photography and everything.
Where's he from?
He's from Madras, south of India. And he's been in Dubai for a really long time.
How long?
16.
16 years.
16 years.
Okay. What have you learned?
I learned that you don't need to spend a lot of money to be happy. He is happy doing that. He doesn't have any worries. Everybody's very happy with him. He's very polite. Sometimes getting a simple life makes you feel better.
Fast det blir bra. Ta av på det när du går åt andra hållet sen i så fall. Sen så framåt lunch så var det slut på nyttigheterna. Då gick vi till oss för lunch och delade en flaska vin. Jaså. Härligt. Men hon jobbar heltid och har barn och hela paketet hemma. Ja. Så härligt. Jag tar kort för det här, du. Fortsätter. Så. I came 6 years ago. Compared to the life that I had in Sweden before moving out, I was working full-time and coming home late in the evening. Then you have a short time with your kids before it was bedtime. And my husband maybe came home to give them a hug before they slept. As here, when I'm at home and can give so much of my time to my children, and I feel that I know my kids and I can give my time to them. And the weekend we spend together with the family instead of running the household things. I see it as I don't have to do, what shall we say, the boring parts like the cleaning and the washing. There I get help from somebody else. We change our attitude towards that because in Sweden it's you don't use less fortunate people. That you don't use the situation of another woman to work for you. It's not fair because we see, you know, people the same value. Everybody has the same value. But here you realize that it's so many women in Far East, Philippines and India who are not possible. It's not possible for them to survive in their own home country.
So they're leaving their kids behind to take care of your kids.
But we feel sorry for them and we treat them well. And I think that many times we are really the only... They feel safe with us. They feel that somebody look after them and they know they get the salary. And we treat them well. They get good salary. Mm-hmm. They got good working hours and so on compared to many other families living here who's having their helpers working around the clock. So and also if there is a problem, they know that we will help them with. You know, for us it's a small amount of money, but for them it's. That's the thing here. If you get bored. There are many opportunities, as we were talking about. If you're bored, you can go and get a job. I don't want to get a job here. I don't want to get out in the traffic, and I'm not there. No, I'm not. I'm so happy right now to be able to spend my time as I desire.
In Dubai, we have a phrase. It's called Jumeirah Jane. What is a Jumeirah Jane? What have you learned? Why did you take on this project?
This group of expat women who comes to Dubai, who comes by choice, have a good education, job, own salary, social security, and villa, friends, everything. They choose to come here with their husband and be a housewife, who is in the culture I come from is very low status.
Okay, do you call yourself a Jumeirah Jane?
Yes, I do that in a humoristic way, you know, a little bit sarcastic way, maybe.
Yeah. What have you learned through your project?
First of all, this is a group of people who, these families with this kind of wives are very happy.
And you know I'm going to disagree with you.
I know, because you're not part of this group.
Perhaps. But, okay, what just happened today to me now, there's twice. In one project, I was told that the workers could be happy. And you're telling me that these ladies are happy, content.
Yeah.
So everybody in Dubai is happy.
Yes.
So everybody in the world should come to Dubai,
yes,
because no matter what they do, no matter what status, they're all happy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I strongly believe in this is a place there is a lot of happy people.
So for the rest of you guys, okay, what do you think of the Jumeirah Jane in relation to the way you've been raised, the way your values?
As local, people that are part of the Jumeirah Jane kind of group, if you go to Spinney's Jumeirah, it is very the Jumeirah Jane place to be. Like, you'd see the mommies with their strollers, with their kids, and Park and Shop as well. Like, when I used to go to Park and Shop, it used to be like normal, but now it's completely and only like Europeans only. The thing is, I kind of not envy them, but they actually made like a community of their own. Locals are still not getting there. You don't see locals in art galleries. You don't see locals being part of something that's actually important or as interesting. Locals just have them all.
So a lot of the life happens actually in Dubai in shopping malls and in hotels, eh?
Social lives, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, if you walk anywhere in Dubai, you would rarely see locals. It's like you're in another country, and then you might see one person that's wearing a kendora, and you're like, oh, I've seen a local. But usually they're in their own secluded area. Like, in the morning, you won't see locals hanging around on the roads. Walking, you definitely not see that unless they're jogging around the park. I think it's basically because of the culture and mostly because of the weather. Yeah. But here in malls, you would only see them usually on weekends.
This is a very well-known terrace for flirting, I understand.
Well, everywhere, like whenever people would get the chance to flirt, they'll flirt. See, our culture is a very loving culture. Like, before, the Arabs would always write poetry to a woman. Like, describing her figure, describing her eyes, her hair.
But I sometimes see these groups of boys sitting and they all have mobile phones.
Oh yeah. If a guy looks at a girl and he has his telephone cord on his face, it's indirectly telling the girl, I want your number. You know?
Right. So it's a kind of a sign language. But how does it work then? Because the girl then has to give the number to him, or it works with Bluetooth, or
Bluetooth, yeah. You know. Yeah, well, like we're a conservative culture, so you can't actually go up to someone and tell them, yeah, I want your number. Some people do, and it's kind of such a turn off. It's not a pleasant sight, but sometimes it's like a very nice, respectable way, you know? Bluetooth, people will sometimes send you messages through Bluetooth, and it's up to you to accept it or not. Some girls do, they're interested, and some girls just don't.
You know, when I come back to Sweden, people always ask me, oh, how do you dress? You know, what can you wear? Do you need to have abaya and everything? But I always say, no, I can wear whatever I like. Because when I'm in Sweden, you know, people dress very, very moderate. You know, you don't go to the supermarket with this and some high heel shoes in Sweden. Would not be possible. But in Dubai, if you do that, you can dress however you like. You can go like this, nobody will notice. So actually in Dubai I can dress exactly how I like.
And you like to dress like a little princess sometimes, yeah?
Yes, I like gold and glitter.
So the dress code in Sweden is more strict than the dress code in Dubai for you?
Yeah, sometimes it's actually true, yeah. In Sweden, if you dress up too much, you're invited to somebody, everybody like, why? What should you think she's... especially when I live in the Middle East, if I come up home with big Christian Dior sunglasses, for example, and this dress and high heel shoes, people like, my goodness, look at her.
Dubai, there's a city always on the move. Over the past 5 years, the law for people to own homes in certain locations of Dubai has, I would think it would have a longer term effect on people staying in Dubai and making Dubai their own permanent home.
So before it wasn't possible to buy something, you could only rent?
Before it was, but I think 5-6 years ago it was impossible to buy except for certain layers of people, and it was only for the locals and the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, of which the UAE and Dubai are part of. Dubai and a couple of other countries have allowed foreign ownership by people, and this will allow them to automatically have 3 years residency, which is renewable, as long as you are behaving well.
And you're working hard and earning money.
Yes, of course. It is a place for the rich. It's not a place for the poor. The body of Dubai will spit out anything which it does not really can absorb.
The moment you lose your job, you also have to go.
Exactly, deported. You are deported. If you have no job, you can only stay for 1 month after, and then you have to leave.
Where are we, Sami?
We're on Khail Road, which is one of the main highways connecting the Emirates. We're out looking for hitchhikers. Fares here in Dubai for taxis are very, very high, especially for the labor force, so they're forced to hitch.
Public transport?
Public transport is probably expensive for them, yeah. I mean, buses are only 3 dirhams, I think. But I don't think they have that 3 dirhams to spend on a bus fare, yet alone the time that it takes to get. There's only 2 bus routes or something like that. It's not enough public transport for the labor force. But
what happens when they get in your car? What happens?
They're shocked, I think.
Why?
At the first. Why would anyone give them a lift, you know? I mean, usually I think the people who give them lifts are truck drivers. You know, 18, 16-wheeler people or, you know, short-haul trucks. I don't think usually anyone in a normal car, I guess, would give them a lift. And plus, I usually carry my camera on my chest. When they step in, that's the first thing they see, is a camera.
So most of these guys are living in work camps, yeah?
Yeah, most of them do live in work camps.
Where are they from?
In India, Pakistan, Nepal. I've met 2 or 3 Egyptians, painters, and mostly masonry stuff, masonry work. If they're Pakistani, usually you can automatically assume that they are Muslim. So when they find out that I'm Saudi, they're really intrigued by Saudi and the 2 holy mosques and that sort of thing. And there's a bit of an extra connection there. If they are Muslim.
Okay, so the idea of the hitchhiker, you're saying with the hitchhiker, you're saying, I'm gonna pick up the hitchhiker because it's gonna take me into a part of Dubai that I've never seen. What did you learn? What did you see?
What did I see? That most of these people are very content for where they are, except for the fact that they don't earn enough. Like their golden goal was to earn enough to take back or to send back to have a better life back there, but so far, no.
Why do you say they're content?
Because they smile, they laugh, they go out, they have their days off, they play cricket, Maybe they are really content, I mean, maybe they sleep more comfortable than I do.
But do they have clean water? Do they have toilets? Do they have...
No, they don't. But these are the obstacles that they face, and I think it makes them feel that they're more alive.
Yeah, but haven't we talked about this earlier? I mean, that sounds like you're romanticizing the process, man. I mean, it's one thing to be there for a day. But on the other hand, honestly, Is there anything that has changed inside you because you've done this project?
Yes and no. It's like, if I drive along and I see them like on the road, I kind of like I have to turn my eye away. I can't really bear to look anymore because I feel like, okay, there's another one and there's another one, and it just never stops. It never stops. And it's not mind-boggling, it's just that to deal with the fact that you can't really help everyone, it kind of hurts maybe in a way, but there's nothing I can do about it except just turn away. And that's a really hard step to make. That's a really hard step to make.
Hier achter mij hebben we een arbeiderskamp in aanbouw. Dat wordt een kamp, een eerste fase van 5000 man. En aan de andere kant van de weg is een soortgelijk kamp. En dat wordt voor mensen die in de hotelindustrie werken. Voorheen en zelfs momenteel plaatselijk nog heb je omstandigheden die redelijk erbarmelijk zijn. Ja, mensen met een 10-tal, 20 man in een kamer, keukens die absoluut aan geen enkele norm voldoen, toiletten die gedeeld moeten worden met 25, 30 man, etc. En de bedoeling is dat ze dit willen uitbreiden tot 100.000 man. Dat zijn veel Aziaten, India, Pakistan, die hier telkens op jaarbasis naartoe komen, maar vaak toch 5 of 10 jaar in Dubai werken.
Welcome to Omran. This is where Nakheel is at the forefront in the market in Dubai. To exhibit the low-cost housing, or what we call workforce accommodations in the country. And the best thing about this project is we are at the leading end. We make sure we have very high standards in quality, furniture, and the entire facility is designed for the comfort of the workers in the country. And I think this will be an exemplary project to set new standards around the area. Here is a typical room where we have the maximum number of people in any of our facilities is 4 people per room with 2 bunk beds, 2 on this end, 2 on the other end. Each employee will have their own cupboard, their own privacy bed. They have a communal area for bathrooms outside. Very nice furniture, very high standard furniture. And the meals will be catered by a very high quality service catering company. There will be plenty of facilities around the project. We will have an indoor gymnasium, outdoor sports courts, swimming pools, all anybody can imagine with respect to housing accommodations in the country. Thank you.
But Agneta, when you look around, when you look at Sammy's project, when you look at the labor pool here in Dubai and the conditions of the laborers, what's your opinion of them?
No.
You have no opinion. Why?
Because I want to discuss my project.
And your project has no relation to those conditions? This lifestyle that you're enjoying is not contingent upon there being a very cheap labor force in Dubai?
Can you precise that? If you call the housemaid or?
Can you have this lifestyle if this labor, this very cheap labor pool did not exist?
Not without my housemaid, no.
3 years ago when I first arrived in the country, I was extremely aggravated with the situation that I saw in front of my eyes. Like I saw all these underpaid, it was mind-boggling. The uniforms, the buses with the bars, the conditions, the just general conditions, okay? But in the 3 years that I've been here, I've started to adjust, and I've started to just accept that there's a class of people that make less money, and they're treated differently. I see the gasoline attendant as the same as the fisherman, as the same as the construction worker, because when they look at me, they all bow down their heads, and they all don't look me in the eye, and they all don't seem to have like this sense of entitlement.
Personally, like to me, my opinion, the main reason why we think we're unequal, or we are unequal to the working class, is because they're of a different ethnic background. If we were like America and the construction workers were locals and they were of a lower class, we can just eliminate the economical differences, and other than that we'll be equal. But here we have economical differences, we have ethnic differences, we have different languages, different religions, so you have a lot of things to bypass to kind of make it equal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So personally, I think that's why I personally really don't think it will ever be equal. I think it's just natural selection, survival of the fittest. You have the people in like the lower part of the food chain. You have the people, you know, that's just how it is. And
if one day everybody in Dubai that's considered a laborer were to say, you know what, we've had enough. Me and you, we're in trouble.
Most of the time Dubai is really presented like a kind of a shiny jewel, like perfect life.
Yeah. Maybe for most of the people that move here, mostly expats and most of the locals, yes. For the majority of you had the three bubbles, the locals, expats, and labor force. That jewel exists for two of the bubbles and not the third. The third look at Dubai as something maybe as a black spot in their lives when they came here and they had to, the vigorous working hours and that sort of thing. Maybe as soon as they finish their contracts, they never want to remember this place. I do feel that a lot of people are misled coming here. They are misled through, corporate advertising as a product, as a city that is a product, that you can go out and buy it.
How about you?
Going back home is one of the major options I have, but I would like to see if I have different options before that, after I graduate. If I do end up going back home, I mean, I can't be, 35, 40 years old and not married. In our culture, it's kind of, no, you have to be rooted to something. You have to have, like, a base or something like that you can attach yourself to.
Would you ever go back to Sweden?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's my home country. That's my home.
But you are so happy here. You have nothing to worry about. Why would you ever go back to another country where you have to worry about everything?
At the moment, we are very, very happy. That could change. But I think in the future, when my children is leaving, I want to be in the same country.
So is Dubai home?
No.
Dubai is not home. It's a place on the map that we stop in. And then we go back.
The place where I choose to live here because I'm happy here now.
You were born here?
No.
You weren't born here. Mason, you were born here? You were born here. Do you plan on living here?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Where are you going to live?
In Lebanon.
Okay. So you're also going to leave?
Yeah.
You have plans of leaving?
Yeah.
Hazem, Is Dubai your home?
No.
No?
No.
You were born here?
I was born and raised here.
It's not your home?
No.
Where's home?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because, like, I didn't live in Egypt. I lived there for a few months.
Right.
And even though I lived here my entire life, but the changes that happen in Dubai every single day, is just, it doesn't feel like home. Home's supposed to be a place where you're comfortable in. I'm not comfortable in this place.
Okay. If I spend 15 years of my life in this city, and the whole 15 years of my life I've been thinking of this city as just a transient place, as a place that I've just come to and now I'm going to leave. I haven't improved the society. I've bitched about the society, I've complained about the society, but I haven't tried to improve it. And the same problems that existed 15 years ago will most likely exist again if everyone in society is like me. So at what point do you draw the line and say, this is home or this isn't home?